Good morning. Hold on, let me show you. Black sand. It's beautiful. Um, well, maybe I can actually do a video on this one. Today I want to share with you the beauty of Panama. I missed my daily walk yesterday because I was on a flight. And I planned this trip very last minute, last week. Spirit sometimes has a plan for us, and we think it's one thing. We think that it is for one purpose, but it actually can be for another. So what am I feeling called to talk about today? Let's keep talking about purpose, because the reason why I'm here in Panama was to look at a house, because deeply, 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 I want to create intentional community. Intentional community is a way of living that is really counter to how we do life. It is more village oriented, meaning everyone in the village has a unique purpose, that they are serving the community with their gifts, that the focus isn't on individuality as much as it is, I think this is the house. I think this is the house I came to see. It's right behind me. Haven't seen it yet, but anyway, from the pictures, I think that's it. Wow. So it isn't about this rugged individuality. It is really about community and about caring for one another, making sure the unique needs of everyone in the community are met. And it's about living life in a way. Hold on one second. Morning. It's about living life in a way that honors the individual, honors the community, and supports healing and wholeness, supports the thriving of all. And I've been saying this for a while to my family and my friends, like, I want a compound. I want a place where we can all live together, that the kids grow up with one another, that, if someone needs something, it's only a few steps away. I really desire this because, one, I think this is how we were supposed to live, in intentional community. And so my purpose, I think, has been really driving me towards that, with all of the things, all of the gifts that I have, all of the things that I've created. Yesterday I spent some time on the airplane. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm creating, one of my offerings is that I'm offering space for people to take a deep dive into their life, deep dive into their purpose, into their goals, into what they see as their next chapter in life, and really hold space for them, not just for a weekend, but for a year. And so I'm developing this weekend deep dive to support them in visioning, into really looking at the emotional blocks or the limiting beliefs that they have that are keeping them from their next level, from that transformation, and then get them to a place where they understand the next step, the inspired action. So this is really a holistic way of looking at approaching your next level, approaching your greatest yet to be. And as I've been creating it, I think the most important thing about my work is that I want to be a practitioner of my work. I seek to be a practitioner of my work. So everything that I do, everything that I've created, everything that I share, everything that I teach is a part of me. And it's a part of me because it's something that I've gone through. It's a process that I created for myself to help me achieve my goals, to help me break through limiting beliefs, and to help me navigate what are the next steps. So I came here to look at a house in Panama. And this house would be perfect for me to have retreats. In fact, when I saw it, I said, one, I could live there and it could be a retreat center. And my husband, being how supportive he is, said, yes, go look at it, do it. Find out all you can. And so I booked this trip with the goal of one, safely arriving here and safely arriving back home. Two, learning all that I can. That was the words that I said. Learning all that I can so that I know what is for me, what to do next. And I've heard a lot of things about buying property in Panama. After I started talking to some real estate agents, and some of those things were really discouraging. And in fact, an older version of me would have said, it's not going to work. Okay, well, that was fun while it lasted. But there's a version of me right now that is emerging that is saying, you know what? Follow every lead until you are brought to a stop. Until you are stopped. And so I said, I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to keep holding this vibration and this vision that I have of a retreat center and a place where families can come and be together and transformation can happen for people, and that I get to hold space for them in a beautiful location on the beach. And so I came yesterday, and while I was in the airport, I opened up a journal that I wasn't going to bring, but I needed an extra carry-on bag. And I said, you know what? I'm going to bring this journal. So I did. And I opened it up. And the first thing that I saw was, in my writing, Pamela, I'm so proud of you. Morning. There's so many things that have tried to take you out. And yet here you are still standing. If I wasn't in the airport, I would have cried. But I was so moved, and I read the entire letter from myself. I didn't even date it, so I don't know when it was, but I do know when I got this book. So it had to be earlier this year. And, actually, it was last August where I was hosting a retreat for a client of mine. They gave me this book. And it says Revolution of the Soul on the front. And I remember thinking, yes, revolution of the soul. How can we evolve and re-evolve? That's how I take revolution. It's like re-evolving, recreating your soul, but also in a way that, your soul doesn't change. Your purpose doesn't change. It just transforms. And so I began sketching out the day-to-day of this retreat, this deep dive, immersive, that I am creating for my clients. And I sketched out day 1, day 2, day 3. I sketched out how to intentionally exit, because that's really important too. How do you leave knowing that you are going for a purpose? But how do you also allow that purpose to evolve? And so I sketched out the entire workshop before I left Richmond. And then, morning. And then I got on the plane and I went to sleep. And I had some really good dreams. God speaks to me in my dreams. Spirit speaks to me in my dreams. And sometimes I don't understand what it means, but sometimes I do. Buenos dias. And so I had this dream that I was in first class and we were sitting at a table in first class. It was this huge table and we were eating chicken pot pie. I'm still working on the interpretation, but one, I know that first class doesn't look like that, right? First class is something that's limited space. But it was a place that was very welcoming. It was like this long, First Supper kind of style table that we were all sitting at. And, I just thought, that's interesting. And so what I think about what that means to me right now is that, you may think that there's limits on how something works, but there's always another vision. There's always another way. And so be open to sitting at the table and enjoying something that you really like. I really like chicken pot pie. And so when I made it to Miami, I decided that now that I had the weekend sketched out, this would be the perfect time for me to do it for myself. So back in 2022, I believe it was, 2022 was when I had my first solo retreat. I went to St. Martin, and that was where the call, the purpose, the desire to create retreats was born. And I was doing my own personal retreat, and that was my goal, for me to go there, to give myself the experience that I wanted to give others, and to come back with a framework. Well, I did that. And I've been going and getting more insight ever since. Not to St. Martin, I've been to Puerto Rico, I've been to Lisbon, and each time that I go away, it's very intentional. It's like a ritual that I've created around it. So while I'm here, I am giving myself the experience of the immersive deep dive. And in the experience of the immersive deep dive, I am bringing to fruition and bringing forth and visioning the dreams that I have about creating Buenos dias, intentional community, opportunities for healing, opportunities for people moving through transition to be supported and held as they are embracing their greatest yet to be. So it's exciting, and I'm really grateful. And I am living in a place of non-attachment when it comes to, is this place for me? Is this house that I'm going to look at, is this the one? Is this where it needs to be? I am detaching from that. I'm still really excited about the possibility. But now I know that the purpose of me coming here was for me to feel into the possibility, for me to get excited and raise my frequency and awareness to a place where now I'm receiving divine inspiration. The possibilities have opened to me because now I'm seeing a much greater and bigger dream unfold. I think a lot of times we're afraid to dream big. I think a lot of times we have been in a place where we have seen and felt the sting of disappointment. And as we have felt and seen that, it has scarred us. It has wounded us. And so we don't allow ourselves to dream. Oh, there's this beautiful part in Wicked where Cynthia Erivo, oh my gosh, look at this. Cynthia Erivo is singing I'm Not That Girl. And she says, don't wish, don't stop, wishing only wounds the heart. Yeah. Sometimes we tell ourselves, don't dream, don't start. Wishing only wounds the heart. This is what my life is. I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl that gets my desires and goals met. Or I'm not that person who can get on a plane and travel to Panama to look at a house that they have no idea how they're going to buy. Sometimes we have to I think we have to live in the possibilities. We often live in the disappointments. But I think we're being called to live in the possibilities, to know that your purpose, the desires of your heart are there for a reason. They're there and they're calling you. And if you rise up to meet them, there's no saying, there's no telling what you will see, what you will feel, what you can do. And so know that your purpose is really important. Know that the desires of your heart is really important. Don't be afraid to dive deep. Dive deep into the soul of your being. Dive deep into your soul and allow a revolution to take a place. Allow a revolution, re-evolution to consume you and to take over you and to empower you and to guide you and to excite you and to direct you and to empower you and to provide for you. Our purpose is so important. And the purpose for why we go through the things that we go through in life, why we experience the things that we experience in life, it is all for the revolution of your soul. It is all for you to grow and expand and see the possibilities and embrace them. Embrace the wins, embrace the losses, knowing that the losses aren't really losses, that the losses are lessons. And those lessons take you higher and they give you hope. And as those lessons take you higher, you get more and more of the wind beneath your wings, giving you exactly what you need to go exactly where you want to go. That's going to be my share this morning. I want to encourage you to spend time with your soul. Spend time thinking about your unique purpose, the desires of your heart, and how you might be quenching those desires of your heart. How are you ignoring the callings of your soul? And how can you honor yourself today and every day to move forward with power and purpose? Love you.